Broccoli is a popular brassica vegetable that can be used in many ways in the kitchen. Thanks to many varieties, you can harvest it from June until autumn, whether grown in a greenhouse or outside in the beds. Today we are going to harvest broccoli together, the classic cauliflower one, but also the sprouted one. How to know when to harvest broccoli to avoid flowering, how to store and process it properly. We'll look at all of this together. Let's do it! You can grow two types of broccoli. Cauliflower broccoli is the classic broccoli. It forms one large central head. After harvesting the center head, if you leave the plant in the ground, in 2 to 3 weeks, you can harvest the later smaller heads that form in the upper leaf axils. Sprouting broccoli, known as sprouting, do not produce one large head, but instead have several longer side shoots, the stems, with smaller heads at the end. Sprouting broccoli is more cold weather tolerant than cauliflower broccoli and is grown a lot for autumn harvests, but you can also grow it from spring sowings. It's now late June and I'll be harvesting two broccoli varieties, an early cauliflower broccoli variety called Limba and a sprouting variety called Green Sprouting, which are started indoors and planted out on April 25. Broccoli, like other brassicas, prefers cool weather. That's why it's mainly grown during two seasons, spring and autumn. In warm weather, it tends to bolt and flower quickly. Nowadays, you can grow broccoli in summer too, but you need to choose hybrid varieties bred for your year-round cultivation. I've grown broccoli in our garden multiple times in previous years. From my experience, it's very difficult to grow broccoli without protective netting. I've tried it, and it always ended the same way. For broccoli and other brassicas like cauliflower or cabbage, you need to protect plants from the cabbage white butterfly. The first generation of this pest, depending on spring temperatures, starts flying as early as May, mainly in June. The second, more damaging generation is most active in July, August, and into autumn. After hatching, the caterpillars can destroy an entire broccoli head in a single day. This happened to me when caterpillars completely ate broccoli head just before harvest. The best protection is to cover plants immediately after planting with fine insect netting. You can place it directly over the plants or on a supported structure. Ripe broccoli can be recognized by its condition, for example, the appearance, strength, and size of the head, both central and sprouting. It is a good idea to calculate the approximate growing season and then check the plants regularly every 2 to 3 days during ripening. It is important to harvest the broccoli before it starts to flower, once the heads are fully developed. For sprouting broccoli, keep an eye on the condition of each sprout as they ripen gradually. Ripe broccoli heads are solid to the touch and do not break. The most important thing is to observe and check the condition of the buds. These should ideally be fully closed. If the buds are starting to open or turn yellow, cut the heads off immediately, even if they are smaller in size. If the buds are open, yellow, or flowers are appearing, the broccoli is overripe. Such heads are still usable but have a different texture and, more importantly, a less pronounced flavor. It can be used in soups or sauces, for example, but it's not entirely suitable for eating raw. The head's color should match the variety's typical color, most commonly a deep green with no yellowing. The last factor is the head size. Spring-sown broccoli ripens faster. In a greenhouse, depending on temperatures, it ripens first, and heads may be smaller. Outdoors, heads can be larger due to longer growth before temperatures rise. At temperatures above 25 degrees Celsius, 77 degrees Fahrenheit, broccoli quickly bolts, so you need to check the heads frequently. For summer sowings, harvested in autumn, broccoli has more time to mature due to cooler temperatures, resulting in firmer and potentially larger heads. Generally, early head-forming broccoli varieties produce heads 12 to 18 centimeters. 4.5 to 7 inches in diameter, weighing up to 400 grams. Mid-season varieties can reach 15 to 20 centimeters, 6 to 8 inches in diameter, weighing 500 grams. Late varieties may produce heads up to 25 centimeters, 20 inches in diameter, weighing 600 to 800 grams. Sprouting broccoli forms multiple smaller heads on long shoots, harvested gradually. These heads are small, typically 5 to 10 centimeters, 2 to 4 inches in diameter, but the harvest is spread over a longer period. Head size is mainly influenced by sufficient nutrition, especially nitrogen and potassium, regular watering and temperature. Broccoli is generally harvested from June to autumn, depending on sowing and planting dates, and whether it's grown in a greenhouse or outdoors. Depending on the earliness of the varieties, you can start harvesting 60 to 100 days after planting, or more simply, 2 to 2.5 months after planting. When grown in spring in a greenhouse or under cover, broccoli is harvested from June 1st to July 15. Sprouting broccoli can produce side heads until the end of July. For spring cultivation in outside beds, harvesting occurs from June 15 to August 31st. Outdoor planting is affected by the weather. If temperatures exceed 25 degrees Celsius, 77 degrees Fahrenheit early, harvesting speeds up due to bolding. For autumn cultivation in outdoor beds, harvesting occurs from September 15 to November 15. Cooler autumn temperatures extend the harvest period and improve head quality. Late broccoli varieties tolerate light frosts down to -5 degrees Celsius, 23 degrees Fahrenheit, allowing harvesting until mid-November. Harvest broccoli early in the morning or late in the evening when it's cooler to keep the heads fresh. Avoid harvesting during the hot weather or after rain when the broccoli is wet. You'll need a sharp knife or garden pruners, blows and possibly basket for the heads or shoots. Let's go through the steps to harvest broccoli. Gently squeeze the head. If it's firm, does not break, and the buds are closed, it's ready to harvest. Using garden pruners, cut the center of sprouting head, including part of the stem and surrounding leaves. Make a diagonal cut to prevent water from pooling on the stem and causing rot. For both types of broccoli, leave part of the stem and leaves so the plant can produce side heads. Carefully place the heads in a basket to avoid mechanical damage. After harvesting the center head, if you leave the plant in the ground, in 2 to 3 weeks, you can harvest the later smaller heads that form in the upper leaf axils. If you don't want to leave the plant in the bed, remove it, ideally to a compost pile. Broccoli should be stored in cool, humid conditions. For short-term storage, keep it unwashed in the refrigerator in a perforated plastic bag or wrapped in a damp cloth to prevent it drying out. The ideal temperature is 0 to 4 degrees Celsius, 32 to 39 degrees Fahrenheit, with 90 to 95% humidity. Really, don't wash it, it reduces the storage time. Early varieties can be stored this way for 7 to 10 days, while mid-season and late varieties can last up to 14 days. You can also store broccoli in a cool cellar at 0 to 3 degrees Celsius, 32 to 37 degrees Fahrenheit, in perforated plastic containers with the stem facing down. Regularly check for yellowing or rot. Sprouting broccoli has a shorter shelf life, lasting 5 to 7 days in the refrigerator. Besides direct consumption, broccoli can be processed in various ways. For long-term storage, you can freeze, can or pickle it. In the kitchen, it's used raw in salads, steamed as side dish, sauté, baked or processed in soups, sauces or purées. Hi, I'm Marketa from Handilio, and I've been gardening for over 13 years. I share my experience in every video which Petr and I carefully prepare for you. With us, you'll grow your harvest without unnecessary effort and no chemicals. No more trial and error, give it a try. Besides harvesting broccoli, June is also a time when our beds are full of fruiting vegetables like cucumbers, zucchini, tomatoes and peppers. Higher temperatures and summer storms bring the risk of diseases like late blight or powdery mildew affecting these favorite vegetables. Learn how to properly care for tomatoes to prevent blight in another video. Go check it out.